everyone. My name is Dr. Deontay Carter with my phenomenal host, Lisa Carrington, for Black Mental Health Matters, talking about therapy access and cost barriers. Um, so, we're going to do some brief introductions right quick. Um, so, so pretty much, my name is Dr. Deontay Carter. I'm a military veteran, served 5 years in the United States Marine Corps, and uh, I am your host. I'll keep this concise. So, Lisa, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa Carrington, straight from Toronto, Canada. Nice to meet everyone. I'm a health and safety coordinator, or I've been in health and safety for close to 20 years now. Part of it is being a civil servant for the province of Ontario and supporting all our health and safety inspectors. In the last 4 years, I've moved on in terms of working for construction companies, civil engineering, helping with the health and safety coordination of a lot of our major projects out here. And in my spare time, which I call my job, is I work with nonprofit organizations, helping young people within our community trying to get into skilled trades.
And last but absolutely not least, Dr. Elizabeth Samanda.
You said it perfectly.
Look at you into this space. Good morning, Grand Rising. I'm cutting you off.
Good
My
morning.
apologies. I'll let you on the floor.
No, good morning. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Samanda. I'm a holistic psychiatrist, life coach. I supervise nurse practitioners, early career psychiatrists. I am also a podcast host for Stepping into Soul Power. I am very much an advocate for people who are interested in being authentically themselves. And I'm hopeful. I'm really excited about this talk because it is something that I'm passionate about. I truly believe that access to mental health care is so important, especially in the for people of color. And if there's anything that I can do to help improve that, I'm happy to do it.
That's, I mean, be the key word authentic and regarding our culture, a multitude of people that are different walks of life, that are people of color from different regions of the world, and whether that access is available and being able to be present, keyword present, with someone that's dealing with, whether it's maintenance, whether it's dealing with mental health issues, and that's caused by physical health issues, and vice versa. These are important topics, and we are delighted to have you, most definitely. So, regarding your practice, access to mental health services within the region of the world that you are in. Oh, I was thinking that our nope. Okay, so let me go ahead and start again. Regarding access to mental health services within the region of the world that you are in, um, what are difficulties and or effective access practices involving people of color within your region, where you're at, where what you deal with? What have you noticed in that regard?
So a couple of things. So I think that one of the great things that happened more recently is, believe it or not, COVID was a good thing for the mental health care industry. And I say that because prior to COVID, like practitioners didn't really, for the most part, didn't really use telehealth. But now telehealth is available as far as mental health. Like more practitioners are using it now. It's like the standard of care now. Like, and so I have seen an increase in access. And when you look at the numbers, as far as like access to healthcare for Black Americans, I think there was a survey that said maybe 90%, which is very, very different from like post Affordable Care Act do have it. But even with what I've seen, even when people have insurance, it's very difficult to connect with a mental health provider because a lot of mental health providers do not take insurance, right? So um, if you want to see one quickly, you have to pay a premium to see them. And when they do take insurance, sometimes the wait, like you're in a mental health crisis right now. You need to see somebody right now. And sometimes it's not at the level where you need to be hospitalized, but it is it is at the level where you do need something. You do need to talk to someone. And sometimes that wait can be 3 months, if you're lucky, 6 months, and even I've seen some places where it's even up to a year if you need to go through insurance. So that is a big barrier. And then also, if you want to connect with someone who is a person of color, there aren't a lot. When you look at the statistics, right, like in the United States, about 13 to 14% of the population is Black American, African American. But even within the field of psychiatry, psychiatrists, only 2% are Black or African American. And even when you look at psychologists, I think it's like 4%, sometime somewhere around that. And if you're looking for a counselor or a therapist, I feel like it's somewhere, it's a little bit, but I know it is better than that, but still, like it can be very difficult to find someone if you want to work with a person of color. And so ultimately, you have to be your own advocate much of the time. Yeah, you do, but you know there are some organizations that can be particularly helpful if you're looking for access. Like there is an organization called Therapy for Black Girls that I know a lot of people use. That can be particularly helpful. There are other directories out there, like Psychology Today. You can find practitioners through there. You can, I mean, some people go through their church or other organizations that can be helpful. Calling the back of your insurance, like you got to kind of go at it at multiple different levels to be able to find someone in a timely manner. And you, like I said, you have to be your own advocate much of the time.
Well said. And I mean, even for the rollout of 988, I know at least in the United States, you dial 988, and usually if it's that much of a dire emergency, a mental health practitioner will come out to you with the backup of first responders to just make sure that you're safe. So it's good that we're starting to modernize mental health and the importance of mental health and coming at it at a multifaceted approach, as you had mentioned. It makes sense. It holds gumption.
Well, I like the point that you made in terms of the resources that are out there. So here in Canada, there's tons of resources that are available. A lot of organizations, when people onboard, probably don't really, before COVID, it's everything before COVID. So they wouldn't really go through the whole benefits and what people are entitled to. Now that COVID has happened, they have seen how people have come back and they're dealing with certain things. Now they're really emphasizing and really promoting, please don't just pay into this service, there are things available to you. We call it ERP. Please call this number. Please use this service. So that's kind of like the first line of defense, like you mentioned with the doctors, that please use this, right? Because you're paying into a system. Don't let it go to waste. Go check it out and see how that can help you, right? And then of course your doctors and all that kind of stuff. But I also see that I know with some of the organizations I've worked for, and because of the space I'm in, that they've now incorporating, opposed to just relying on that kind of benefit, that they're actually bringing people in and having, we call them like toolbox talks or stand downs, or part of our safety weeks and stuff like that, where we have these levels of conversations, because some of our people that are out in the field are isolated and out there doing what they do in terms of this space I'm in. So they're actually purposely bringing in people to have these levels of conversations as part of the day-to-day, and incorporating that in terms of, say, the start of the day conversation out there, because they're being very mindful of that.
That's really beautiful. I like that toolbox talks, having those day to day conversations. I actually think that that's really important. I'll be honest, in the U.S., we've got a ways to go with all of that. That what you have sounds like a luxury, but even in this space, I have seen companies make a shift to even like adding like stuff to focus on wellness, which is
Yes.
great. But yeah, I'm hoping that spreads spreads
Well,
to the
you know
U.S.
what? The funny thing is, my actual title for this job is health, safety, security, well-being lead. So there
Mm,
is the well-being is part of the component which tying to wellness. And funny enough, this week we're having a big town hall, and I'm actually
yeah,
doing a wellness survey for our workers right now, just to kind of see where they're at in this project. So in this project that I'm in right now, wellness is a big component because of the type of work uh, the personnel doing. These are engineers, and they work around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, clock in some hours. So some of them have blinders on, head down, doing the work, and don't step away from what they're doing, only because of how accelerated this project is. So there's not really a lot of wiggle room or time to pause, right? So wellness is a big component, and this is the first organization where it is like a key component in terms of our health and safety.
And it
I'm
makes
glad.
so much sense because
Yes.
rest is a requirement, not a reward. We
Mm,
as a society always say, "Hey, I want to take a break to do this, this, that," and we're using it as a reward. It's a need.
yes.
It's a necessity.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
And how about this? Rest is productive. How about
Yes.
when you're able to rest, you
Yes.
rejuvenate, you get yourself back on track? That's when the ideas for creativity and inspiration come in.
Well, they harbor, or I mean, they're trying to bring it back as well, in terms of, like they always say about rest in terms of form of, I guess, physical activity or whatever, and associate it with, say, like you're exercising or dieting or whatever the case may be. You got to get 8 hours, but it's so important to, like, this is a day to day something that you have to do. I know for myself, I try my best to keep within my, like, a good sleeping pattern, and it just makes a world of difference.
Yes.
But we live in such a fast society where people are not given time to breathe. So rest and just the way, I guess, circumstances are in terms of, you know um, money and all the things that are happening right now, where people are taking 2, 3, 4 jobs just to survive. Rest is on the low man on the totem pole to really be focusing on, right? So It's sad.
Very.
Yeah, it's sad, but it is calling us to that we've got to change. We've got to reframe the way that we look at rest, and realize just how critical it is. If we were thinking that, oh, if we just do more, we're going to be more productive. We're not machines,
Hmm.
you know. We are human beings, and even machines need maintenance.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
It's true. It's true. So
Wholehearted.
I'm going to go on to my question. So basically in my journey, I've mentioned that I'm in this construction space or health and safety. And oftentimes I'm in this space where I'm by myself. You First of all, I don't look like I fit in this space. Right? Especially when I go on projects and I have my hard hat and boots. So
Yes.
most times people kind of look at me cross-eyed, like, what are you doing here? And so being that, there's always that kind of pressure for me being a woman in this space, and it's a male dominated space. It is a very white dominated space. So there's always that challenge when I go in front of men. They kind of look at me and then they do the challenge, or they kind of like scrutinize me first. Then they want to start, spewing out rhetoric to see whether or not I understand health and safety. I always have that kind of one up on them because I'm like, well, I used to work for government and I know all the health and safety inspectors for the province. So if you want to mess with me, I'll just give them a call and have them come talk to you. So that kind of stops things. But that being said, I do face sometimes discrimination,
Mhm.
underrepresentation. So I guess in this type of space, how do workplace culture and discrimination, underrepresentation, kind of in the space can impact mental health for Black women?
So I think um, there can be a feeling of loneliness being in
Hmm.
being in that industry, but everything starts with you, right?
Hmm.
I'm going to say this: there are some people who who were made. You're supposed to stand out. You're there to break barriers. You're
Hmm.
there to be the first, right?
Hmm.
Um, when you're going into that space, it's really, 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 really important to remember who you are and to
Hmm.
remember your strength. Um, and so having a strong idea of who you are, that a lot of times when people are doing these, what you're describing to me sounds like these microaggressions, that
Yes.
it's a reflection of them. I think the way that you're interpreting, like, a lot of times when people feel the need to put you down, to bring you
Hmm.
down, that usually it's those are their insecurities. So know that when
Hmm.
people come at you like that, that really, really, it is their insecurities are coming out, they're projecting onto you. And so when you
Hmm.
have that in mind, it changes the way that um, it changes the way that you interact or with them. Sorry, hold on.
I need
Sorry about
milk.
that. Hold on.
Your parents too. So adorable.
Very cute. Kids know what they want, right? That's okay. Family first.
Yes, absolutely. Family first.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I have a that's I have a 2.5-year old little boy. So that's a real mom moment. So so sorry. He found me. He found he found his mama.
Super mom moment.
Oh,
It's all
sorry.
right. You
Sorry
know,
about
It's
we're all
okay.
super parents. We're all super parents.
Sorry about that. Um,
You're okay.
yeah, sorry about that. But just
Worries.
saying that, like, you're going to be tested with microaggressions, and part of what you'll need to do is start reframing. And then also, like, I'll be honest, a lot of the times when you're hit with microaggression after microaggression after microaggression, it can wear on you.
It
You can,
does.
and there are sometimes you will have physical, like, when you're hit with stress after stress after stress, your cortisol level goes up, your blood pressure level goes up. And so you have to have a system for dealing with those emotions that come up. And so there can be anger. You know, when anger comes up,
Mhm.
usually it's related to injustice. So, like, having something that you do after work where you can decompress, where you can let go, whether so because the body keeps score. It does.
Mhm.
And so different people release in different ways. Some people need to cry it out, some people need to hit it out, some people need to run it out, they do something, or meditation, yoga, like just finding different ways to release. And in the field of psychiatry, there are lots of different techniques that you can do um, to help,
I
or
just
write
find
it. Go ahead.
I just find sometimes, and some very good points, because one of the things I do is the writing. I find
Yes.
that once you write and for me, I write and it's releasing from here through the pen and it's on paper,
Yes.
I've, in my head, I've released it. And then I
Yes.
can close the book and away I go. But then there are parts also where it's just that having to put on that face all the time. I call it my Becky face. Okay, so it's that phase where sometimes you cannot just be yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? Because of your, and again, sometimes you have to recognize your audience, but
Mhm.
there are times where you have to, like, I have to put on this very professional face in order to be heard or to be seen, to be comparable to my male counterparts. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes it's just more than me just speaking because I have the knowledge. There's a look to it as well, that has to come with it. And then once that is not in place and they see something, it's almost like that finger pointing is happening. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but
It
sometimes I
makes
feel
sense.
like I'm always having to put on the face when I first started in this space. But as I've gotten older and I've taken the time to learn things and how to navigate in that, you're right. You have to be able to command your space. So when I walk into a room, they probably either was shaking in their boots, like, oh my gosh, you woke up this morning. Or who is this
Stop.
lady with the big glasses coming in here to, like, she means business right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I have throughout the years and in the space taken the time to command my space, and in my, I call my job with my nonprofits or whatever, that is something I teach them, in terms of the mentorship, as well as finding your voice.
Mm.
And especially this space, because you need to have a certain voice to shut it down, and a voice that takes almost a little bit of the emotion out of it and come with facts,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because, and especially in this space, a male space, you can't come with the whole emotional part of it,
Yeah,
because
they
then
don't.
they will
Yeah.
shut it. They then all of a sudden you're just a woman, right? No matter what credentials, certifications, acronyms by your name, you're now just a woman that cries, right?
People
Yeah,
fail to
you know
realize
that.
people fail to realize that we all are human beings. We have to process emotions and situations in a way, in a sense, and these ideologies of James Brown said it in a music video. This is a man's world, and it's like, no, this is a multifaceted world with beautiful ideas, and allowing that space to happen regarding your mental health and allowing you to have emotions. It's not a sign of weakness to ask for help kind of mentality. It doesn't exist in male spaces. And a lot of the times it's, oh, you look soft. You look soft if you do this or whatnot. You have to operate like this. So we've had these ideologies ingrained for quite some time, beyond centuries, of this is how you're supposed to be as a man. Men don't cry, men bottle it up. Pain is the weakness leaving the body kind of ideologies. And it's like, we're all human. We all deal with loss. We all deal with emotions. And it shouldn't be this dichotomous discussion of, well, guys should feel this way and women should be emotional.
Well, I'm going to jump in here because last week I was mentoring a young gentleman. And that's one of the things that he said. He likes the space. Not necessarily he wants to be a skilled trades or pick up a tool, but he likes the space of health and safety, being in the corporate background or whatever, but you're still dealing with that type of attitude. So one of the things he says, I'm not a man's man. Like, I'm not watching sports. I'm not doing all that and that type of stuff. So he feels sometimes, because he's not like that, and the people he interacts with are like that he has to put on a face, right, in order to be seen, to be heard, to be taken seriously, and kind of be part of the. And he's a guy, so to be part of that boys club, right? So we talked about that. The code switching is real.
It happens, but I think that ultimately, right? If it sounds like a lot of people are afraid to be authentically themselves in these spaces, and there are a lot of people that are suffering in silence.
Yes.
And so ultimately, if we want to see something different, then we have to be that change. Then we have to show that range of what it means to be human.
Yes.
So, and that means for leaders who are out there being open, honest, and able to articulate their emotions and able to create a space for other people to feel what they're going to feel.
Absolutely. And that's a beautiful segue into what I'm getting ready to ask. Regarding the services that are utilized in these spaces for counseling, how is it affecting the multiple variants of our culture, whether it be disability, military, veteran status, socioeconomic status, traumatic survivors? What have you noticed within the cost trend of your space of providing therapy?
Let's see. I mean, I think that, so in the I can speak to the United States. I'll say this: we have like Medicaid, Medicare. So those are the big public insurances. I know that there have been, cuts to those. So that I think there's something big that's going to happen to those public insurance services, and so that we're a little bit worried about that. I think with rising costs of everything right now, I think unfortunately, mental health is because of that, right? It's being pushed to the back burner right now. I know that the VA. I have some friends that work in the VA. I know that there have been a lot of changes, and with those changes, unfortunately, some veterans are like not getting the benefits that they did before. Like it's a little bit scary right now. And so this is a call for us to start acting, right? Say something, and not sit and wait for someone else to save us.
Wow.
I
Creation of a
agree.
village.
Yes.
So for me, I think that to that point, we need to stop sitting down and waiting. We need to be proactive opposed
Mm-hmm.
to reactive, right? And taking that, just waiting for someone to give us something. No. We also need to take the time that when we're seeing things, like we need to gather together like a band of brothers and sisters and
Yes.
unite and have conversations. Like, what are we doing? You know, we see our kids acting a certain way. We see like women are going through these stresses. We see men, you know, finally dealing with some childhood trauma and they just don't know how to deal with it because they've kept it in for so many years. Do you know what I mean? And we're afraid to like speak about these things. And so we need to, and I totally agree. We need to kind of band together as brothers or find out or have resource, like really tell where the resources are to within our community to say like, okay, did you know we have all these things? And share, and we need to be sharing more. And I think that's one thing
Yes.
we don't do very
Yes.
well. Share. We don't share. We keep a lot of things to ourselves, and I don't know why, but we need to get into the habit of sharing, and so we can be more united on certain things because we are very much in, a lot of us are very much in different silos right now.
Yeah.
Oof,
You know,
well
and
said.
we need to start breaking down these silos because that's the only way we're going to be unified. I know for myself on my end, you know, with my job, the nonprofits or whatever, I mean, we have a space like that where people get into skilled trades, but the bulk of the people that come or we kind of mentor to are people of color.
Yes. Mm.
You know, one of the places I that I mentorship in, which is Her Path Forward, and so it's really targeting women in this type of space or whatever to say there's a safe space. And funny enough, um, we had our International Women Day, and all these women showed up and they didn't even like they saw it on LinkedIn, they didn't know about it, and then we created like a new group of people to start coming to say like, oh my goodness, I didn't know this was a safe space that I can come and have conversations and people are able, be able to relate to me because a lot of the times I'm on these sites by myself,
Yes.
right, and I can't talk to anybody. So
Peace John has joined us. Yes. How are you?
Thank you. I joined a long time ago. I think I joined another site or something. It's the first time using this app, so it's kind of difficult to navigate my way. I sincerely apologize.
No worries at all. Hey, the technological space can be arduous to navigate, so totally understand. Uh,
Thank you.
I'll recap the question. Yeah, no problem. I'll recap the question. So, being that you have the intersectionality of services regarding our culture, Black populations that are military veterans, that have disabilities affected by socioeconomic statuses. What are trends that you're noticing within like the cost and the way that it's accessible to these different populations within the practice that you do for mental health?
When I want to talk about cost and access to therapy, I would have to I would have to add some other points or some other, how do I put it? If I wanna, I can't just focus on cost without talking about different factors that intersect to come about the problem of accessing therapy in the Black community. for instance, I'm just going to start with cost. There is something I call, pardon me, there is something I call the CCAH. It's called care, cost, access, and pardon me, care, culture, access, and history.
Mhm.
So when we talk
Yes.
about accessing care, culture, access, history. So before we talk about cost, these factors intersect with what is happening in the Black community because we can't just say we tend to oversimplify the situation going on, and we can't oversimplify it because it has there is so many intersecting factors that are affecting the Black community. Let's care. It's difficult for them to access care because of cost, indeed, yes. Because we all know that therapy is not cheap. It's a little bit expensive. And in our community, okay, in our community, insurance doesn't cover therapy. So the money is coming from your pocket, and it's not everybody that can afford that amount. So that is where it is difficult to access. That is where cost. That's the only place where cost affects our community. Now we talk about the culture. Most of the time, African therapists are underrepresented, and people want a therapist they can align with. People want to talk to people they understand, people that understand them. Now, it's difficult to access a therapist that would understand you when the system has made the whole world of therapy Western. And whether we like it or not, our culture is not the same. So this tends to be a barrier for accessing culture as well. Then I'm going to talk about access. Access in the sense that it's not just finances that hinder people from accessing, what do they call it, from accessing therapy. It has to do with transportation. It's not the money for the therapist. It has to do with education. A lot of Black communities cannot suffer from medical infrastructure. We stay in environments where it's difficult to access, what do they call it, mental health care. So that plays a major factor. Accessing it is one thing to want to seek a therapy, and it's another thing to know where to get the therapist, it, to gain access to the
Absolutely.
therapist.
Yeah.
So those are the
Okay.
factors that I feel it's really affecting. And when we talk about history, history comes in from our ancestors. A lot of Black communities don't even believe in mental health. They believe, okay, this is something that it's religious, or it's something that has to do
Yeah.
with misdiagnosis. We are scared. They get scared of being misdiagnosed. So because of the history they've heard, we can't push that away and just talk about oversimplify it by just talking about the financial aspect of it. We have to bring all these factors into perspective before we truly get the solution to these major problems. That's my
Okay.
opinion.
Well, this leads me to my question then. Now that you talked about, not having the transportation, monetary value of not accessing care. So, what other barriers prevent Black women from accessing mental health support, perhaps mentorship, or safe spaces to open conversations? Now, I know as women, and I'm centering around women a little bit. I know I'm a strong cookie, and so I do have a tendency to keep things to myself, right? And to a point, I explode like a volcano. My poor husband. But that being said, so what other barriers? I know for me, it's more of I guess, failure that prevents me sometimes from wanting to or not being strong, I guess, if you want to look at it in that sense, right? So what other barriers would you say between the two of you that would prevent women from wanting to get support or some, mentorship or speak to either one of you?
Like I,
You, go ahead.
okay, like I said previously, um, when women, if people can't relate with you, it will be difficult for them to come to you. People tend to run away if they realize, okay, this person is not, you don't think the way I do, you don't understand the culture. So the whole, like I said before, the whole therapy world, Black women are underrepresented. That is the cultural, but that's where cultural barrier comes in. Black women are underrepresented. When people go for therapy, they see that it's not like me. This person would not understand where I am coming from. They will not understand the pains. Even if I express myself, what are you going to tell me? Don't share the same history. We don't say. The next thing is the other way. They just leave and they don't come back. So in order to do this, I feel in order to boost people going for therapy, like African women being open and willing to go for therapy, I feel we have to visit communities. The few black therapists that we have to start visiting communities. We don't have to wait for them to come. We have to go to them and tell them what therapy is and how it's going to help them.
Yeah.
So that's just what I feel.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with that increasing visibility and being very clear about what is actually possible, because I think that a lot of people feel like they're lost causes, or there's nothing that can be done, when a lot of the times when I meet with people, I'm like, oh, this is anxiety. There is so much you can do. You don't necessarily have to take meds. There are many things that we can do to help you navigate that. Or depression, right? Like getting at the root cause of like, why are you depressed in the first place? There are often many things that can be done, but people may not know that that's the case. That they're so used to being that way that, it's just become part of their normal life.
Routine.
Yes. And so I absolutely agree with you in that way. And I mean, I think that there are, so you talked about quantity. I do believe like we need more providers. There needs to be a cultural shift just in general. Education, and then there are systemic issues that keep 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 Black women away. I think that honestly, I feel like there needs to be a collective healing. I think that there have been some past hurts that run deep and have led to mistrust. And I think if we're able to have some real discussions about that, and maybe even consider some sort of collective healing, that it would be good for everyone.
So can I ask that what you just said, do you think that sometimes because they've been doing this for so long, especially with trauma and stuff like that, that they make that as part of their identity?
Absolutely.
And so it's very hard to just release it.
Break the mold.
Yeah. Well, there is a limiting belief that is keeping them in that role. We are powerful. I wish I could convey how true this is, that we have the ability to change and transform ourselves and the world around us. We do. Mm-hmm. We absolutely do. And not getting stuck in a mentality where we are less than, where we cannot do, where we are stuck where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you not think sometimes, and again, this is just me, do you think sometimes that what you just said, so I just feel sometimes we're waiting, there are people within our community just still waiting for that handout, waiting for some level of reparation of some sort, right? It's not coming. So what are we doing to say, like, how are we going to move from here to there? And it's almost, I feel like you, like that whole thing I was talking about, identity, like you've identified with that and you're staying in that and you're not moving from that until, I guess, you're waiting for something to happen, you know. And how do we navigate through that for people that are in that kind of stage, to say, like, you got to let it go, and in order to move forward, because you're just going to get stuck there. You are stuck there, as a matter of fact, but you need to start letting it go. Just let it go. And I know I'm saying it's so casually, like it's so easy, and I know it takes time, but what would you say to encourage them to say, like, it's time to just let it go, because that's not who you are anymore. You need to find out who you are today.
You know, I think, go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay. As therapists, I feel it's not in our position to tell people when to heal and when to be fully healed. A lot of people go through situations. Yes. A lot of people go through, especially, let me capitalize on women. Women in Africa, women in diaspora, especially Black women. History has made it a way, like our ancestors have told us that you have to be perfect, you have to be a good wife, you have to respect your husband, you have to obey your husband. After God, I don't think they believe in God, but whatever they believed in at the time, after whatever they believe in is your husband. So women have lived with that. So they feel if I go to somebody else, it means I'm selling my husband. It means I'm hurting my family. I'm trying to break. I'm not strong. Yes, history has made women believe menstruation is weakness. So you are not strong enough. People, a lot of where I come from in Africa, not just where I come from. I was talking to an Indian. She's not African. She's Indian, and I'm brain health. I was talking to a client, and I think I have permission. She told me at some point she was going through domestic violence, and I said, no, this is unacceptable. You can't be going through this. What do you want to see in your life? And she said, I want my mom. And I said, you can't be in the same place where you're broken. There's no way you can get healed in this. For now, you need to maybe go to your family members so they can help you heal. And after you do, you can still go. I'm not saying break up with your husband. You can still go back to marriage. But for now, you were all battered, you were healthy. And she said, no, I can't leave my husband. If I leave my husband, my family will not even accept me. That is one problem we are facing as a community. You can't tell people to heal and move past their situation. They feel eventually things will change. Like you said, I'm thinking eventually this is going to change. It's going to make you stagnated. It will keep you where you are because you are not making the effort to change, but you still have that hope, believe that, okay, one day I'm just going to wake up and everything will be okay. So that major problem we are facing. You can help, you are willing to help this person. This person is not willing to help themselves. They still want to be there.
You know,
so,
I think
there's an adage says, force a horse to the river, but you cannot force it. So you can help people heal, but you cannot go and use coercion to bring them out of that situation. That's the major problem that we're going through with women in our community.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say this. I truly believe that I believe that every person, every spirit, every soul here, we are powerful. We really are. And that everyone has their own unique journey. And when you're a healer, when you're a therapist, whatever, you are there to meet that person where they're at. And at the end of the day, they got free will. And people have the right to make not the best decisions. Sometimes you have to learn the hard way. But being being there to hold space is incredibly powerful.
Mhm.
And quite frankly, Dr. Kimberly Williams Crenshaw says it best regarding the concepts of intersectionality. We have to embrace our identities and not stray away from them. But if it's arduous and so arcane to the point where it's creating that much hurt and that much suffering, we have to divorce that. We need to change that, but it's up to that person as a practitioner, as you both wellly explained. It is on the person to be able to change their culture, change that ideology, and create something more beautiful regarding fruition, growth, understanding, and not necessarily being so curtailed and stuck in an ideology that is dictated by culture, socioeconomic status. The list can go on and on with what we've grown around and what we're used to. And this leads me into my next question. What are initiatives that provide that what are like different programs within the region that you all are in that bolsters, that helps with mental health for Black women, Black men? What are services that you all know of that can be that effective? So then we won't be in these spaces and feel like we're trapped in this cacophony, this dirge of just despair and anguish, and be able to have, as you mentioned, Dr. Elizabeth, be able to have maintenance.
Well, in the United States, I'm gonna give a plug to the Divine Nine, the fraternities, sororities. They generally, I see a lot of outreach from them, doing a lot of things regarding not only mental health awareness, but um, but even looking at like what can we do to prevent things from getting worse. I think that there's the Black Mental Health Alliance. I think I had mentioned Therapy for Black Girls. They do some of events as well. Those can be incredibly helpful. Um, I mean, I'll put a plug for, because every community is a little bit different. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
go back and, I've lived in Texas and, and the DC area, and I know that the DC area, I know has quite a few resources for people of color, and the Divine Nine they're pretty, they're like, they're on it. Um, and even calling there's like a 211 number that some people call, and they can even help you. They can help you get connected with some services. So that's something to think about. In Texas, like I've lived, let's see, usually there is a county for, like, if you don't have insurance, like I know in the Houston area, like the Harris Center, like they do some Harris Health, Harris Center, that can help you out as well. So those are some
And,
resources.
and usually universities have a sliding scale for counseling. So if you go to a historically Black college or university that offers mental health and mental wellness, usually, and you hit the nail on the head, Divine Nine sororities and fraternities are amazing at giving back to the community. And a lot of, I mean, in fact, here in Ohio, we're getting ready to have a HBCU fest like at 12:30 noon. So I mean, these are all things that are connecting resources. So how about you, Peace John? Like within the region that you're in, like what are services that help with having that access for women and men that are in need of mental health assistance?
Question different. I feel there are so many organizations now that are helping people with mental health illnesses. However, about to foster mental health care in our local communities. And I think we need to reach out. We need to create more awareness. We need to use social media. I think almost everybody has access to social media nowadays. On a scale of 100, 85% of people have their platforms. I feel if we workshops, women coming together to support each other, because there is something therapeutic about when women come together. When we find a way to find something that brings not just women, that brings people in the local community together, maybe a festival or something, apart from the different organizations that are helping them. We have to also think of what we can do to implement change and create awareness, something that would live with them. Like somebody was telling me the other day that I don't even know, it, and it's actually a lady. She was telling me, I don't even know why should I do it when I see all the motivational quotes on I want to see on Instagram, and I made her understand that it's not about motivational quotes. It's not about what you see on social media. Connecting to yourself, it's about healing from the inside. It's about changing your mindset. It's about rebuilding your subconscious mind into into changing your thinking.
Yes.
Just listening to motivations or just watching YouTube or videos is gonna make you heal. Then you have a very good. It's gonna help you heal. Sorry. Then you have a very long way to go. To go to the communities, we need to organize something that we can post on social media platforms. And people, youths, are so carried away by aesthetic. As mental practitioners, we need to organize something that we can post on these social media that people will see and say, when is this thing happening there? I wonder. I used to organize a show whenever it's Women's International Women's Day. I used to organize a show in there. I did. I just started it again, and I felt let's do this for women. I don't know what people are going through. They come, they share their stories, what's happening in their lives, and it blew up. About it, back to say next events. Like, are you doing it this year? Is it going to happen? I don't even want to go back home because I have to be in this event. This is what we want. Something that lives with them even after the whole celebration, and so that's just what I feel. That's my own understanding of our question.
Okay, so in terms of what can we do in terms of our moving forward in our communities, I guess to bring more awareness out there, or make sure that we have proper representation and awareness of this of mental health, like support systems, especially for people within our community.
I think so. This is my feel, is that I think it starts with ourselves. Like when you start doing your own work, it starts showing, and then people will ask why. How did you get to that point? I saw you when you were like this, but now you like this. What happened? And being intentional about doing that, being intentional about connecting with other people, about changing the way that we interact with other people, and really not just talking the talk, but walking the walk, like being that change. We have to become it. We have to know that, like, we're not waiting for someone to save us. We are going to save ourselves. We are our own superheroes.
Yes.
A lot of it is I guess hiding behind a lot of social media and devices and just kind of moving away from these kind of things, right? To have conversation, because people don't talk to each other. For most
Yeah.
people talk online and think this is talking. But then when they get in person, they don't know how to have conversation.
You're
Eye
right.
contact.
Yeah, I will. Okay, so yeah. So COVID did do so. COVID introduced telehealth, but also like the social, our our in-person social skills took a little bit of a dip. It took a little bit of a
Yes.
dip. So I mean, we've got to be intentional about getting out there and you know having in-person conversations. Maybe spending less time on the screen and more time being physically present with other human beings. Maybe having collective um, group organizations where we are able to touch and feel other people.
Well, it's funny. So something that I do, especially with the young folk that I mentor. So I took a young lady to an event, and she told me that she is afraid to socialize, and but she wants to build up her network. And I said, okay, no problem. So we went to this event, and I warned her. I said, let me tell you something. I'm giving you a task. You need to network with 5 people. I will help you guide. I will guide you. We will get up together. We will walk around. Once I say, let's go, leave that food there. Let's go. And I'm going to start the conversation. You're going to jump in. And at the end of the conversation, you're going to get a LinkedIn connection. Right. And so I like what you said. We have to lead the way. Right. So by leading, creating a bit of a comfort that it's okay, you can do this,
Yes.
encouraging them,
Yes.
letting them see how it's done, showing them, sharing information so that they can now take it in and then make it their own. And so by the end of the night, my girl, God love her, she walked away with 10 connections.
Look
She
at
got
you.
pictures. So we need to do a better job by seeing, and I'm all about ecosystems. So once somebody has
Yes.
put you up here, and I've been very blessed to have the mentors, and not even just mentors, sponsors that speak my name in rooms that I'm not in.
Yes.
And we need to take that and educate our young ones today. And we need to teach them how to do that and keep that ecosystem going. And I think that has to do with mental health as well. That's very important, is that we're allowing people to get stuck here, but we're not showing them the way sometimes that we can get over here, right? And the little steps. We're not sharing
Yes.
information. So it ties back to the whole sharing and being open and vulnerability,
Yes.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Is a big thing. We're
Yes.
not being
Yes.
vulnerable. We're being very closed off. We're like about self. It's a very
Introvert.
selfless world. Yeah. And the other thing is we need to understand is when it's not about self anymore, right? We're not in this COVID bubble anymore. When we go outside, we're representing everybody that's attached to us. And
Yes.
we really need to instill that mentality to our youth. We need to instill it to our adults as well.
Yes. Facts.
Yeah.
All
So
factual. And quite frankly, I mean, I'm getting ready to start a digital company called DR, Diversity Issues and Anti-Racism Application, that I co-authored, uh, highlighting the Black Wall Street Massacre in 1921. And this is a space to highlight multicultural Black excellence. We need to be a collective, be a community, be able to share stories, but then also learn from failure. We continue to harbor on failure like this is breaking us apart. We need to learn from it and not so much wallow in it. Learn, take those components that were effective regarding learning and apply it to something that is apply it in a similar situation, but leaving out the adverse parts of it, and being able to learn from failure and not staying stuck in that kind of failure will
Exactly.
create just a beautiful. It won't be so segmented. It's now harmonious. It's not so much a cacophony now. It's harmonious. So we have to be a people that be able to contact and speak to regions where Peace John is at, and understand the difference of how our actual culture in Africa is versus the African American, Black American, Canadian, Afro Canadian kind of segments. We need to be able to have, not make it a dichotomy, make it a harmony, and make it
Yes.
very flexible and useful to each other, and not be so adversely divisive and just button heads all the time. We need to come together as a people, because we will be stronger, and we will be able to celebrate Black excellence way much more better.
Absolutely.
And that leads me to this question right here. So what are some therapy options that people haven't heard of? Like, what are self-helping ways to navigate life as a Black woman, as a Black man? What are ways? How can we be more resilient? How can we be more resound? And you, Dr. Elizabeth, you spoke on it a whole lot. Trusting yourself and being authentic to yourself and not straying away from that. But let's elaborate on that.
I truly believe so. I think there are so many different types of therapy. There really, really are. And I wish people knew that. Like, there are therapies where you learn skills. There are therapies where you like go into the subconscious and deal with your subconscious stuff. There are therapies where, it's like releasing. You release. There are even somatic therapies. There's play therapy. There's so many different types of therapy. So I'm a true believer in, I feel like each of us comes with, we know we are the expert of ourselves, right? Like, you've been living with you since day one. And so you're getting information about yourself and your body all the time. So becoming better able to listen to yourself and follow through. I think what happens a lot in, especially when people experience trauma, is they have trouble trusting themselves again and trusting the world around them. And then they don't listen to their intuition. So really, therapies that can be particularly helpful, I think, within this particular community, I would think are mindfulness-based therapies, dialectical behavioral therapy. Actually, I feel like I wish everybody, and this is a strong statement, would learn some of the skills of that, because that's about mindfulness. It's about, interpersonal communication, being able to tolerate distress, being able to regulate your emotions. I feel like those are skills that if you're a human being, then those are skills that will serve you well.
Yes.
But there's so many different types that people, I feel like you need to tune into yourself and really be clear about your why you want to do therapy, what you want to get out of it, and be able to articulate that to the person that you're in front of. Because sometimes just because someone's a therapist or a psychiatrist doesn't mean that they have the skills that you want, or that are going to take you to where you want to be. So you, at the end of the day, we're all healers. We all are here to help ourselves. We all have agency. We are all powerful. I really want people to get that. It's like, I mean, professionals will help you, but you also you play such a huge part in this process.
Yes.
Yeah, you make or break it.
How
So
Well,
about you,
I love how you say we're so powerful, and you've repeated that several times.
we are. I
You
have
know?
seen it. I have seen people do it.
Yes.
It really, the only thing that's keeping people from where they want to be a lot of times, there's some beliefs in there that need to go.
Right.
Yes.
And I love like I said, I love the fact that you reiterate that, because perhaps we need a reminder. We need to remind people how wonderful, how fantastic, how special we are, how unicorn status that we are sometimes. And I think sometimes we just forget, like I think of myself as a unicorn. I'm not going to lie.
You are.
Right. At the end of the
Do
day,
it.
I do appreciate that you've reiterated that several times, and we need to take that level of messaging and that level of energy and remind people in this space, in our community, we are unicorns. We're the foundation of a lot of things. And at some
Yes.
point we stop remembering this and stop really taking pride in this. And the thing is pride. Right. And the other thing too is we're allowing things that the negativity to really weigh on our backs. We need to just let it go.
Let it go.
Right. Figure yourself out, like you
Absolutely.
said, and how I can move forward and make a difference. Right.
Yes.
And be a part of something. Create your legacy, create something.
Yes.
For sure.
Right? That your family, your kids, somebody will remember you by, to say, this person did this because you are capable. You have the ability to do that. You have that. You need to find that fire inside you and let it ignite and let people burn in it.
That's unsurmountable to racism,
Yeah,
all that. Like just
all of that.
unsurmountable, resilient, harder than the Rock of Gibraltar. How about you, Peace John? I'll preface the question to you as well. Like, what are therapies? What are ways? How do you talk to your clients, and what is ways that you bolster wellness with your clients that you deal with? Good therapies that you deal with, you utilize in practice.
Okay, as a holistic therapist, I mostly tell my clients to most of my yeah, okay. So I mostly advise because healing is something that starts with you. There's nothing you can tell anybody. You can't just wake up. Therapy is a thing of the mind. It's something that's always gonna start with you. Nobody can come and hold your hand and say, get healed. No matter how you are just standing beside your person. You are not actually healing them. So what I tell my clients is embrace yoga, embrace exercise. First of all, that's the first thing you should do because it depends on the kind of mental illness you're having. When you come to me, mental, there are different therapies. I could say we could just start with a CBT, but it all depends. The first thing you need to do is to reconnect with nature. Reconnect with, because I realize that when people are in some certain stage in their life, in some certain situation, they begin to isolate. They don't want to go out. They don't even want to get out of bed. So just getting out of bed alone to come to the therapy session, even going to register for a therapy, is you've already started your healing journey. It's already a work in progress. So what I do, I believe in the power of nature. I believe going out, taking a walk, journaling is something that would help you heal. I feel sometimes when we write what we want, it's a form of healing. When you just take like a diary and then you write, oh, today I want to do this, today I want doors to be open, today I want to, you start to capitalize on those things that you have written down. So I always tell my clients initially that journaling is very, very important. So when you write down what you want to do, you work towards doing that. again, you need to embrace nature. I tell them, try to do it, even if you can't do yoga or any of the things I'm going to suggest. I would advise you to at least take a walk. Just take a walk around your house, start moving a little bit. Tell yourself, you can speak to yourself, introspect and talk to yourself. It goes a long way. And I advise everyone to embrace this exposure. Like go on a trip, sometimes take a walk, take off your shoes and walk barefooted around your house. There's a healing that comes with connecting with nature. There's a special therapy that comes with connecting with nature. I posted that in my therapy session.
Well, I like what you just said, just taking it back
Thank
to
you.
just the small things, the simple things, right?
Yes,
Taking a walk, listening to music, disconnecting
of
from
course.
whatever you're doing that's causing some
Going through
stress or
your
some
yes,
anxiety, and take a minute. I always tell people, if I'm being
exactly.
honest, the best time, two best times for me is when I'm alone in the washroom. Sometimes you can do your
Yeah,
best thinking in the shower,
it's true.
right? You're by
Yeah.
yourself.
Mhm.
And number
Yeah.
two, when I'm driving to work, I'm
Mm.
by myself, I'm with my music. I can just be myself in my car, sing to the top of my lungs, listen to a podcast, and just have me time. And then I just leave it in the car, go do what I have to do, my 9 to 5, leave that over there, and then bring myself back in my
Yeah.
vehicle. So it's the small
Connecting
things
with the
that
soul.
we
Yes,
slowly take for granted, and these are the small things that can recenter you or
that
reset you.
actually matter. Exactly. Exactly. I actually
Mhm.
Nice.
wrote a book called yes, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I had actually
No,
written
no,
a
go
book
ahead.
called
Go ahead.
okay, okay, okay. I actually wrote a book called Naked Therapy. And when people hear the title of the book, they feel it's probably I'm telling them, no, it means being naked with yourself, connecting with yourself before you'll be able to connect with people. I always tell people try to, a lot of people forget who they are, especially women. When women get
Yeah.
married, I'm telling you from my
Or
experience,
happy.
when women get married, they forget who they are. They start living for their kids and their husbands.
Yes.
So
Wow.
reconnecting back into who you truly are sometimes take a very long toll. It's almost impossible. Because you tell this woman, okay, when you were 18, 16, what was the passion? What was that thing you want to be? What's that passion that you have inside that keeps burning, that keeps you going? And they say, like, I want to get married and have kids. They totally forget what they actually, who they truly are. So they say, all I
Mhm.
want is for my kids to succeed. That's all. I just want my kids to be happy. I just want my husband to be happy. Yes, you want your husband to be happy. You want your kids to be happy. That is settled. But you have to be happy as well. Because if they are happy
Yes.
and you are not, it's going to affect them. Your sadness, your situation is going to start taking a toll on them. So people need
Yes.
Well,
to
it's
embrace
funny.
themselves.
Mhm.
Women,
Well, it's funny
yes,
you see so
women
many
need to learn to.
women that pour into their families, and then, like you said, they forget about themselves. And then when
Yes,
the empty nester happens, they're so disconnected from their husbands or their spouses, and they don't know what to do with themselves, to be honest with you. And that,
exactly.
for me personally,
Exactly.
is a very scary thought, right? Because you've poured into everybody else to make everybody
But
else
you.
Self
happy,
for yourself.
and you totally forgot about, like you said, what makes you
Yourself.
happy.
Yes. Yes. And see, now I feel like we got to do a part two of this. Now we got
I
to do a
think
part
so.
two of this
Yeah.
because we're coming to a close. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
like, Peace, John, Dr. Elizabeth. How can people follow you on social media platforms, business platforms, what have you? Any either one could go.
Oh, you
Okay, I
can.
have my
I'm on LinkedIn. Oh, well, I'm on LinkedIn, and you can also follow me on Instagram, Dr. Elizabeth Samanda, Dr.
Okay.
Elizabeth Samanda.
Okay.
Okay,
How
I'm on
about you, Peace
LinkedIn,
John?
Peace John Ohize. Yes, yes, yes. On LinkedIn, Peace John Ohize. Yes, just Peace John Ohize. And on
Okay.
Instagram, I only have my business page on Instagram because I was trying to cut off social media for a very long time. So I just have my business page is there, and it's called yes. I make wigs for born victims, people suffering from mental hair loss, normal people. I'm in India, so I supply um, what do they call it? 100% donor hairs. I make wig and all that. So my business page is Donor Hair Brand on Instagram at Donor Hair Brand. That's the name of my business page on Instagram.
See, had I known that, I wouldn't have chopped off all my hair, girl. So I would have called you. I used to spend a lot of money on wigs, and I was said, nope, I chopped it off. Now, had I known you, I would have gave you a call.
Oh my god. And I saw the best thing. It's authentic donor hair, yes.
It's true.
We gotta do a part two of this, y'all.
Yeah.
We gotta do a
No,
part two of
honestly
this.
speaking, the idea of starting a wig business came from most of my clients. I realized there's this power that comes with having a nice hair on. So I used to have this
Yeah.
client that was
There
going
is.
through chemotherapy. Yes, that was going through chemo, lost her hair, and she keeps complaining. Whenever she comes for a session, she keeps telling me, "I'm not myself. I can't even look at." I said, "A wig will do very, we go very well with. I can make a wig for you that would look really good on you." And she said, "I've never worn a wig before, so I don't know if it's." I said, "It's going to fit you." And that was how the whole idea to start a wig business came about. So I made a wig for her until date. She still appreciates me for that.
Good.
So that's just it.
Well, sometimes you have to just take a small idea or hear something and just roll with it, and you never know what you can make of it, right? So I'm always an opportunist. I hear something, right? As long as I can attach my name to it, and then boom,
Of
it's a
course,
done. It's a
of
wrap.
course.
But thank you, ladies, for being on this show today. And to Dr. Carter, at the end of the day, I feel like this is worthy of a second conversation.
Absolutely.
This is a great start to start conversation. And hopefully this can just spread the word so everybody say, you know what, we need to start talking about these things. We need to put down our pride and put down our vulnerability and really have some true conversation around this, because it's here, it's serious, and we need to deal with it.
Absolutely.
I'm embracing what Dr. Samantha is speaking on. We are powerful. We need to band together. I'm going to couple what you just said. See, my screen is acting weird. I'm going to couple what Dr. Samantha is saying, what you were saying, Lisa. Peace, John, what you were saying. We got to be a community. We have to be a culture that's supporting one another, because we are powerful and we are Black excellence as a people, as a culture, and we can't let ideologies stop us. So on that note, hey, y'all be ready for a part two of this, because the conversation is going to continue. So until next time, thank you all so much for logging in for therapy access and cost barriers. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, weekend, next week, here on and there forth. And you all be well. Take care.
All right, everyone. Take care. Bye.